So you are in the market for a new home purchase. Congratulations. And in this video, I'm going to give you a checklist of all of the documents that the banks asked me for when we purchased our new home. And unfortunately, it's a lot. So go grab your cup of tea and let's get to it. Hello again and welcome back to my channel. I am Dr. Brittne Halford, your internal medicine physician and wealth coach. And today in this video, we are talking all about the home purchasing process. And if you haven't watched my first video of how to prepare for the home purchase, then watch this video here. Because before you get to the documents, you gotta make sure that you have all the other things in order to make yourself the best candidate for your home purchase. Now, let me tell you, this process is not for the lighthearted. You will likely spend at least an hour gathering all of the documentation and uploading it to the bank's portal in order to provide them with the information that they need to submit your loan to the underwriter. So when you're doing this, give yourself some patience. The bank may also come back to you asking for additional documentation. My hope is that after you watch this video, because of the comprehensive list that I'm going to provide you, you can get through this process very, very easily. And if you actually want to download the checklist, then I have it right here in the link below. So feel free to download the home buying checklist so that you can come prepared with all of your documentations and ease the burden before you get to the point in which the bank wants you to submit your application ASAP. All right, let's get to the first document. So the first group of documents will be for your proof of income. In the first video, I talk about how the bank wants to ensure that you have adequate amount of income in order to support your monthly mortgage. Now, when you are gathering documentation for your proof of income, the first thing that they will want is your W-2. Actually, W-2s from the past 2 years. So you want to gather up, if you work for multiple employers, all of your W-2 documents from the past 2 years. This will show the bank the amount of income that you had, not only from a month-to-month perspective, but during that entire year. Then you want to gather your most recent pay stubs from the past 2 months. When you're going through this documentation, you just want to think about twos, like just gather it from the past 2 years, from the past 2 months, because they want to see that you're not switching jobs or have lost your job. So they want to verify that you have had income for the past 2 years and that's a stable amount of income. So if you are a W-2 employee, then definitely your W-2s. If not a 1099 employee, you want to also gather those documents as well. You also want to gather your pay stubs from the past 2 to 3 months to show them that you are actively employed and to verify that your income is current. Next, you want to gather your tax returns for the past 2 years, particularly if you are self-employed. And this is one thing that I forgot to do because we file our taxes electronically. I never signed the 1040 form. So they actually sent me the tax forms back and said, hey, we actually need you to sign this tax document. So if you haven't already, you've submitted things electronically, make sure you go back and put a physical signature on those documents as well. And if you own your own business, then they want to see your profit and loss statements for the past 2 years as well. Sometimes when you own your business, you might drive a loss through your business in order to reduce your tax liability. And so that will be illustrated on your profit and loss and show how much revenue you actually brought in that year with your business. Now let's move on to documentation of your assets. Now you want to download bank statements from all of your bank accounts for the past 2 to 3 months. This shows how much money you have in the bank in order to verify those assets. In addition to any bank statements that you might have, whether that's an emergency fund and a high yield savings account, or an account that you have at like a Chase or a Bank of America as far as your general checking account, you want to download all of those statements. You also want to gather information from all of your retirement accounts. That includes your 401ks, your 403bs, 457bs, any IRAs. And if you have transitioned employers, then you want to go back to those old employer-sponsored retirement accounts to download those documents as well. So for example, I used to work at Emory before moving to Boston. I had to log into the portal to make sure that I downloaded the amount that I had remaining at my Emory 401k in order to verify that these assets are available to me if I needed to use them for a mortgage payment. Next, you want to download any other investment accounts that you have. If you have anything in crypto and stocks and bonds, you want to gather all of those documents in order to substantiate your assets that you can leverage in order to pay your mortgage if needed. Ideally, you would have the cash flow to pay your mortgage in order to avoid tapping into any of the other assets that you might have. However, I know that there are people who have taken a loan from their 401k or borrowed money from a Roth IRA in order to submit the down payment. That is not ideal because that means that you're taking money away from your future. However, that is something that could be done. If you want to know about some of the pros and cons of doing that, of borrowing from your future self, then make sure you drop a comment below and I can upload a future video talking about some of the nuances and the pros and cons of doing that. Now, after you've given them proof of your income, proof of your assets, and verified that you are currently employed with that pay stub, now you need to provide them with all of your debt information. So that means if you're carrying a balance on any of your credit cards, you want to download that credit card information as well with those balances. If you have student loans, if you have a car loan, if you have personal loans, you want to gather that information as well, because they're going to be using that information to understand your debt profile and to calculate your debt to income ratio to substantiate that you have enough money in order to afford the home that you desire to purchase. And if you're already a homeowner, then they want to know about that too. My gosh. They want to get information from your mortgage lender. They want to understand how much money is in escrow and if your property taxes and your home ownership insurance is being paid out of escrow. They also want to have that property tax document to understand how much property tax you've paid in the past years so that they can incorporate that, especially if you're going to be keeping that home and not selling the home. Now, if you are someone who's going to keep the home and you will have a renter, then if you have a signed rental agreement that documents the amount of monthly payment that that renter will pay you for that property, that can be incorporated into your income and offset some of that debt to income ratio. So as you approach the closing date of your home, it might be prudent for you to start to search for a tenant for that property. And if you need it, you can submit that documentation for additional income. And if you are a renter, then they want to see your past rental payments to ensure that you've been paying your rent on time and how much rent you've been paying. If you live in a property that the mortgage is going to be much less than your current rent, then that in itself justifies that you can afford this level of home. So make sure you go to your landlord to get some type of record of those rental payments, whether that is documentation of past checks or for them to provide you with a year-long statement just verifying that you've been paying your rent on time and this is the monthly rate. Then you're going to have to provide them with some type of identification saying that you are who you are and that you are a United States citizen. For us, it was a passport and also our driver's license. You also need your social security numbers. I don't think I had to provide my social security card, but I'll get back to you on that one. And in our case, this was not a document that we had to provide, but say for example, you're getting a gift from your grandmother in order to purchase this home. It would be important for you to have that money in the account prior to you submitting the documentation and for you to have a letter documenting how much you were given of that money and the source of that money. Now, having these documents will ensure that you have everything you need and you are prepared for your home purchase. Unfortunately, when you're purchasing a home and you need to get a loan, depending on the market, it can be very aggressive and stressful. So preparing some of these documents in a folder on your desktop before you actually go and find the home that you desire will help you to decrease your burden. You want to be as organized and timely as possible to ensure that you don't lose the home of your dreams. You want to make sure that that application is submitted and is ready to go for underwriting without all of the back and forth need for future documentation. So I hope that this video was helpful, and if you like this content, then I want you to hit subscribe to my channel and check out the link below in the comments so that you can get your checklist for the documents and make sure that your home purchase is as smooth as a baby's bottom. All right. I will see you on the next one where I'm going to talk to you about all of the steps that you need to go through in order to secure your home purchase and to avoid some of the headaches that a lot of first-time home buyers get into because they skip steps. All right, I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.